Hello and welcome back to Game Vitamins. My name is Nick, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how we acquire inventory on the cheap as an at-home seller. Now, if you've been around this for even a little while, you probably know that without a physical store or brick and mortar, an actual LGS, you are not getting distribution rights, especially for Magic the Gathering. I know it's the case with other games as well. So how do we acquire cheap inventory in order to actually create sustainable margins? That is the goal of this video. Dive into it, how I've gone about doing it, and a little sneak peek here. It's not that easy. It really isn't. I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But if you're new here, thank you all for tuning in. My channel is all about growing a Magic the Gathering business or a TCG-based business in general. You can probably pull tidbits of information from just about anything I talk about, really. I'm just focused on Magic. And for anybody who's returning, thank you as always. I really appreciate you coming back to watch another video of me yapping about all of this and luckily making a little bit of money. But I don't know. Everyone's always asking, what's your hourly rate? How much do you make doing this? I don't know, guys. Honestly, when you start, it has to be something you just enjoy doing. I mean, don't quit your day job without having a really stable base, because I pack a lot of shipments every day in the evening, and still nothing totally sustainable. It's profitable. I have good systems, but anyway, that is beside the point. Let's dive into inventory and how we can go about acquiring it so you can start building up your own Magic or other card game based business. Now, the core of this really centers around finding opportunities. Now, don't click away just yet. I mean, it's simple in theory, but I want to use an analogy to start out, something that is tangible across just about anything. So in terms of buying and selling goods. So say you are flipping cars. You know, you go on Facebook Marketplace, you find a really good deal on a cheap car, and you know that car, you know what it could be worth if you maybe put in a couple $100, or those people you see online as you're randomly scrolling at 1 a.m. that are like flipping utility trailers. I don't know. Have any of you guys seen that, or is that just my really weird money-making algorithm? I don't know. But if you're looking for these items and you know the product and you know what it'll take to create profit off of that product, then you're going to make sure that as you're hunting, you're focusing on capitalizing on deals when you see them and passing on deals that just don't make sense. So if you go out and you buy a car, just because you buy it and you go to relist it does not mean you're going to make money. You know, you need to know what deals to jump on and what deals to pass on. It is the same thing with every single buy and sell based business. Now, there are ways that we get it a little bit cheaper. You know, that's the focus here. But I think it's really important to say that up front, because the reality is not everything is a deal. And I know that sounds really simple, but when you see a deal, you need to be able to jump on it, because we don't have the luxury of getting wholesale product or allocations of pallets worth of cards that you already have some sort of buffer built in there. No, I mean, we're buying it from other people who are selling it. So they're making money, presumably, or maybe they're just losing money on it to clear out inventory or whatever. But we need to find a way to be able to stretch that margin a little bit wider. We are a secondary middleman. We do not act as WotC to seller, us to the individual. You know, like there's another person in the mix, and the more people you add, the tighter the margins get, and that is the whole name of the game within this business. Thin margins, high volume, and ideally where you can find it, you can find some good margins. It's just, you got to jump on it when you see it. So how did I go about acquiring inventory? Some of you who have watched some of my early on videos probably know some of this, but I want to focus on boxes where I have found more stable and consistent returns on breaking them down and selling them for parts, essentially. So how I look at it is you need to not only look at the top line value of any product, but also every potential benefit that you can get when buying a product. Now, example number one, my very first big purchase was 13 boxes of Modern Horizons 3 and 7 boxes of Outlaws of Thunder Junction from the same guy. He won them through Magic Arena tournaments. So he really had no major cost basis. I saw them go up on Facebook, a marketplace. I would always peruse, see if any deals popped up, immediately jumped on them, went down there, picked them up the next day, and that was my first good deal. Those don't get replicated that often. They're really random, but Modern Horizons 3, able to get it at around $160 a box, across 13 boxes. I haven't broken down all of my Modern Horizons 3. I actually leave some of it listed in case you want to buy a box. But, the EV is almost at like $300 across 13 boxes. Odds are it should average out, and I would actually have a very solid return on all of these. Again, I haven't really focused on Modern Horizons 3. I've focused on some of these cheaper sets to really make sure my theories work. But exactly what I was saying about the car. You go on, you see a car for sale that you're going to flip, which I don't do that. I'm just using it as an example. You're not just going to buy any old car, right? It's like I knew the product. I knew what it would sell for. I knew that it had high expected value. So it was a no-brainer. But you need to make sure that when you see them, you can jump on those deals. Now, another thing, you can't, again, these are not easy to replicate. So how do we create more replicable, cheap inventory? So as a smaller buyer or seller of cards, you want to find irregularities in the market. And that's the interesting thing with Magic being a pretty tight economy. There are opportunities for arbitrage, not to sound too fancy. But for example, early on, and also just because I enjoyed his content, everyone who watches these types of videos probably watches Rudy, Alpha Investments, Wilds of Eldraine draft boxes, $91. That is great. The EV on these is like 170 or so. So right there, you are limited to 6 a month, but you just need to take any opportunity to bring in potential product to resell, especially at this stage, especially when you're starting off, trying to build out the inventory. You can't really be too picky, right? I mean, you're not going to get anywhere saying, "Oh, I want more. Like, can you sell me more?" Or going to somebody and trying to buy high. You could go to anyone and buy it at a higher price and just get a thinner margin. But on rotation, I'll order these from him still just to keep my Wilds of Eldraine stock up, and I know that it's profitable. I would hunt around and this is the other thing. Rudy has mentioned this. So he ships no extra taxes, no extra shipping, right? So you need to incorporate this stuff into your inventory cost. I don't know if people forget about it, but I am fortunate to not be in a state that has sales tax. But for everyone else, you need to make sure that you're doing everything you can to mitigate the costs added on to your inventory. So no, I am not getting it cheaper than you necessarily. I am still buying some of this stuff like March of the Machine off of TCGPlayer. I see that there is a good spread on March of the Machine draft boosters. I have a lot more boxes over there. And I saw that, I could get 11% back during Cyber Weekend as a credit. I also have a credit card that gives cash back on top of that. So once you calculate it all out and you order over a certain amount and get your shipping to be free, or someone just includes it, or maybe you buy enough boxes to make sure that the spread on your margin is not going to deviate too much. Again, it's all about law of large numbers. If I have 20 of these boxes, odds are the average will push closer to the normal EV. If I only have 2, there's a solid chance I might lose, or maybe I'll do really well. So you need to be doing it in scale. And when you see the opportunities, you jump on them and utilize everything possible to get as much cash off of the top line price as possible. That is the main tip here. I think if you're financially responsible and you know how to use credit cards and credit in general to further business ventures, it can be magical. I mean, you can open up certain cards that will give you, say, again, I don't know. It depends on who it is, right? There are some cards you spend $1,000 within the first 30 days, just hypothetical, you get $100 credit. That's actually 10% off what you paid for these boxes. And you need to account for that. You might get some corporate cards that say spend $10,000 and will give you $1,500 back. I had one of those once. It was 15% back on purchases you were going to make anyway. You pay it off in full. You have to. I mean, you do not carry a balance on the credit cards, or else every piece of advice here, I'm not a professional, let's throw that, I won't throw it up, but I'm not a financial professional. I am financially responsible. And through that financial responsibility, I have learned how to utilize debt and credit cards to benefit me. And this is something that everyone needs to do in order to get the cheapest product possible. Rudy's, no extra shipping, no extra taxes, extra cash back on a card. That brings the average cost of these down substantially. Yes, $15 a month on Patreon, you do have to account for that. But still, the EV is great. You go down on Facebook Marketplace to pick something up. You go to a town over, calculate in your fuel, calculate in your time. Make sure you know that it's going to be worth it if you're going a couple hours to go pick something up. And you can pay, person to person. And I don't know, I'm not a tax man. You figure that out. Other ones, Dominaria United down there. I was scouring eBay. I keep saved searches open for when people list certain sets. Now you guys will be trying to race me to buying these things. But $40 a box. Someone was just getting rid of them. I think they're like at least 60, 65 a box. Free shipping. I didn't get a ton of them, 10 boxes. But like at our size, the people that are doing this at home, there's just like no way to get industrial amounts of inventory dirt cheap, but you can get it cheaper. And that is my main lesson here. That is my main secret to cheap inventory, is when you see opportunities and you calculate out all your potential savings, jump on it. I think I mentioned in my last video, I got 36 boxes of Dominaria United draft boosters during the TCG Cyber Weekend. I bought a lot of boxes during the Cyber Weekend. I bought 24 March of the Machine. I bought 24 Infinity. I bought 36 Dominaria United. I bought more Karlov Manor. I bought a lot of stuff. And the reason is you got over 10% store credit back, free shipping, extra cash back on a credit card. Sometimes when Amazon is doing Amazon dumps, if you have an Amazon company card, 5% Amazon credit. And then I buy all of my shipping supplies on Amazon. These are things you need to pay attention to if you want the cheapest product possible, because at the end of the day, 5% off ends up adding up substantially. I think I got like $1,000 in TCG credit over Cyber Weekend. And yes, that is not physical money, but it can be applied to another deal that I see, another opportunity. And then it's just more inventory. So that is what you need to do. I've gotten a lot of questions about this. How do you get your inventory? Don't you need a brick and mortar to get distribution? I don't have distribution. I am in no different situation than you at your computer. I actively hunt and watch for deals. I account for every bit of potential cash back. certain credit cards, some months will give you up to $10 back on $100 purchased on around eBay or something like that. Certain cards just have blanket cash back. Some have special deals like with the Amazon one. These are just things you need to be aware of and focus on, because 5% TCG Players Cyber Weekend, 10 to 15%. I mean, that does not come often. So you need to jump on it. I knew what I was doing. This is a lot that I'm going to be sorting through. Again, I just throw a few things on here so you guys can look at it and I can point out what I did. But when you see the opportunities, jump on them. Okay, I'm beating a dead horse here. I think that's kind of all for now. I wanted to answer that question. A lot has been going on. Got a lot of things to pack up tonight. We're keeping good momentum on the sales. I've been building out the space up here to make it a little easier to work, which has been great. I'll maybe do another behind the scenes soon. Actually, I'd like to do a behind the scenes when I pick up the rest of all the stuff that I got. Came in a lot of big boxes. Got to go to the post office. So once I get all of that, maybe I'll do a little behind the scenes, show you guys everything that I picked up. Maybe do a little bit more set analysis. I did that one on Karlov Manor. Everyone seemed to like it. I know I talk about it all the time, but I might do a similar box analysis on each box I open up for March of the Machine, for Dominaria United. I was starting to do it with Baldur's Gate, but I didn't buy enough of it, and I got a good deal when they dumped some of this online, and I don't know. I did well on it, but I kind of want to do it where I have a really high sample size. Again, 20, 30 boxes of certain sets. So this is where I stand right now. I have a lot of bulk, a lot of plans for it. I've already inquired about getting a card sorting machine, probably a Fizzbatch. I think that's probably the best one for what I'd like to do in terms of sort of custom products that I've mentioned many times, but doing it by hand, doing custom products by hand, take a long time. It takes long enough to just break this stuff down and pull the value out. So there's that. What else? We're nearing 1,000 subscribers. I want to say thank you guys so much to anyone who subscribed. I never thought that I would even hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. I kind of wanted to create it as a fun little journey as I kept doing this, just to look back on, maybe give some tips. But it's awesome to see that a community is forming and that people are enjoying the videos. I'm thinking about maybe doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway or something like that. Never really done anything like that, but maybe I'll do. I was thinking about. I have a ton of Pick Your Poison cards. Let me know if you like this idea. I have a ton of Pick Your Poison cards from Karlov Manor. If I were to set that price of that card at like 73 cents, and then plus shipping, and each person bought one as like an entry ticket to the giveaway. Clearly no one else will buy them at that price, so I would give you the link, you'd buy it, then no matter what, whether you win or lose, I will send you that Pick Your Poison and maybe like a couple extra Karlov cards, maybe some full art cards or something like that. So even if for the $2 entry, you get something, and then I'll put all those names in, and it's limited on entries to the amount of cards I have. And then I could give away a box, random name generator. I have collector boxes now. Maybe that'd be a higher subscriber count. I don't know. I thought it would be an interesting idea, just a little community engagement, also to thank you guys just for watching the videos, tuning in, listening to me talk about it. So I guess that's all for now. If you have any questions, any pieces of advice for the rest of the community, for myself, feel free to throw it in the comments down below. Take all of my advice with a grain of salt. It works for me. Be responsible. Don't overextend yourself. Do it at a pace that suits you. I get a lot. I've gotten some of those comments like, "Oh, well, you're not a small seller now." I actually don't know what a small seller is. I have like 10,000 inventory items. I didn't think that was that big, but I was flattered that they said I was a big seller. If just do whatever fits your situation, and you'll quickly learn what does, what makes sense, what you can realistically turn over, and how much cash you want to have on hand to jump on these opportunities when they arise. So anyway, that is how I get my cheap product for selling online. If you have anything, throw it in the comments. Like I said, I think I already gave that spiel, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.